You are listening to the Spiritual Warrior Coach with Barbara Savin, the podcast for discovering how powerful your wisdom, compassion, and courage is. Get ready to join Barbara and her guests as they explore and offer you advice on how to reclaim your power, your energy, and your authentic self. And now, here's the host of the show, Barbara Savin.
Well, thank you for joining me today, and welcome to the Spiritual Warrior Coach podcast. I am your host, Barbara Savin, and I am here to help you reclaim your power, your energy, and your authentic self. I am a certified clinical and medical hypnotherapist, Reiki master and teacher, energy healing specialist, life coach, and best-selling author of Gentle Energy Touch, the Beginner's Guide to Hands-on Healing. You know, I've been helping my clients for over 35 years, and the older I get, the more wisdom seems to come through. So isn't it time that you believe in yourself? You know, your mind is going to provide you with your greatest challenges in life because it's so very, very powerful. So let's use that mind for positive thinking, creating harmony, balance, peace, love, happiness, and anything else that your heart desires. Because one day the world will tap you on your shoulder and say, this is your time to shine. And speaking about shining, boy, I'm going to bring my guest on right now. How are you, Corbie?
Doing wonderfully. Thanks for asking me on the show, Barbara.
Oh, my pleasure. So let me tell my listeners a little bit about you. Corbie Mitleid, right?
Mitleid.
Okay. She is a certified tarot master, psychic medium, teacher, and ordained minister. And she's been reading for over 50 years and is a full-time intuitive counselor with clients worldwide. And Robert Schwartz features her work as a channel and past life expert in his breakthrough series on karma and pre-birth planning, Your Soul's Plan, Your Soul's Gift, and Your Soul's Love. And as an author, her self-help volume, Clean Out Your Life Closet, encourages you to write down your own story of change based on your history, your life experiences, and your personal goals. And her book, The Psychic Yellow Brick Road, and You've Got the Magic, Who Needs a Genie?, deals with how to use psychic counseling wisely and to be a successful part of the holistic expo community from the professional side of the aisle. And Corbie's abilities include tarot card readings, spiritual intuitive counseling, past life retrieval, mediumship, and spirit guide conferences. Wow. Welcome. I will say I looked over your book. I read a lot of it, and I said to myself, finally, someone has written a book based on how to choose a good psychic. I mean, I have to commend you for that. And we're going to get into your book also. But first, I guess my question is, how did you actually get into all this?
Okay, that's what I cheerfully call my 30-second elevator speech. When I was 9, I read a book called The Witch Family by Eleanor Estes, and I thought, wow, there's magic in the world. I want to go find it. In 1973, when I was a senior in high school, they had the James Bond 007 tarot deck at Spencer Gifts, and I bought it because we were all hippies then. So for 20 years, I read for friends, making sure that I would keep my ego out of the way so the messages would be clear. All of a sudden, in the early 90s, I could do hands-on healing and talk to dead people with no training. That's when I hung out my shingle. But when I watched the towers burn on 9/11, I said to my husband, look, I'm going to need to do this work full time. People will need to know there are other answers out there. He said, I believe in you, go do it. So since then, this is full time, 6 days a week. I read about 1,000 people a year, and I get to get up in the morning. I don't have to get up in the morning. That's key.
Yes. Wow. So it's been in you. So you probably were born in this abilities with the abilities.
Oh, we all are, Barbara. That's the whole point. The way I explain it is we all have 10 fingers. All of us can pick out chopsticks if we really concentrate. Some of us love music. We learn to read it. We practice. We get pretty good. 1 in 100 million is Elton John, but we all have 10 fingers. So yes, we are all born with the ability. It's just, do you want to tap into it?
Right. And unfortunately for many of us, life brings us down, and then we get out of it. And then something usually happens to us that we finally, hopefully, get back into it.
Yes, that is exactly right.
I know, like for myself, I was bullied so much as a child because my grandma was a healer. So but I was bullied so much that it was time to say goodbye to it. And then, of course, I started aging and all of a sudden becoming ill, that's when I finally got back into my abilities. So it's amazing how things just, hopefully we find our purpose and passion in life. Let's put it that way.
Absolutely.
So I got to talk about your book, because this is the first book that I've ever read on psychic abilities that actually tells you how to pick a good psychic, because I know out there's a lot of good, there's a lot of bad, and whatever else you want to call them. So I guess my question to you is, what made you write this book?
There was a specific incident 15 years ago, maybe. I was doing a very large psychic expo in Toronto, Ontario, 250 booths. And
Wow.
no matter how good the promoters are, when you've got 250 booths, you can't vet everyone. So across the aisle from me was one of the fake gypsies. And a bunch of us watched a woman walking down the aisle, looking at all of the booths, and the fake gypsy comes running out from her booth, grabs the woman and says, "Oh, you no need to pay $30, $40, $50. I read your palm for 10. Come." Drags her into the booth. 20 minutes later, we see the woman leaving, crying hysterically, and a bunch of us ran over. What happened? What's wrong? The gypsy said to her, "Oh, you have a family curse. How many in your family? 4? You have dog? $50 every family member, 25 per dog. He fix." And told the woman if she didn't burn 400 specially blessed candles at the Roman Catholic Church, I bless real good, only $1 candle, her entire family was going to die in a car accident in 2 weeks. And she bought it. So since then, when I have done expos, I very often have taught people. I have 2 lectures. One is called Psychics 101, The Good, the Bad, and the Cleos, as in Miss Cleo. And the other is Psychics 102, How to Prep for a Great Psychic Experience. When people know what we can do, what we can't, and how to use that information, it's better for them and it's better for us.
Yeah. Now, I know people also, some of my clients that actually were, scammed into spending $1,000, $2,000, $3,000.
Yes.
And I said to them, why did you do this? Because again, that the fake psychic kept on, telling them, well, in order to remove, as you said, like the curse, you need to come back, or you have to do this, or you have to do that. And for the life of me, I could not understand why they did that. But I guess she frightened them so much that something bad was going to happen to them that they decided to do it.
That's exactly right. The people who do these kind of scams have done them for so long, they know exactly what to say. They know how to cold read, which is eliciting information from you so that they can make an educated guess. And once they have your trust, then they spring this on you.
Yeah.
And they may only do it for a little bit in the beginning, but then they'll have you coming back and coming back and coming back. And the price always goes up. Yeah. And so does the problem, so after a dozen times, it's, yes, your entire family will die in a car accident if you don't pay me $6,000 today, so I can ward off the demons.
Ward off the evil. I know.
Please.
It's funny with my clients, I do energy healing work, and they'll ask me after a session, when do you feel I need to come back? And I look at them. I mean, I could easily say you could come in a week or 2 weeks, and I tell them, you'll know when you need to come back.
That's exactly right. People always ask that. And the way I explain it to them is, if you come to me and we do a reading, and a month later you come back and say, I did everything that we talked about and now things have shifted, it's great, but I need to know how to work with that shifting. Of course, you can come see me. But if you even just see me once a year, but it's always the same questions, and I'm always telling you the same thing, after 3 times, I'm like a good bartender and I cut you off. You're wasting your money and my time.
Yes. Well, that's a good person. I mean, that I do the same.
That's
I
called
do the
being a
same.
professional, Barbara, and we
Yeah.
both.
Well, yeah. And it's not taking advantage,
Mhm.
because I need to sleep, with my head on the pillow without any situation at night, knowing that I've done the right thing for that person.
Yes. Yes. Bad or unearned money is bad energy, and you just don't want it.
No, you don't at all. Now, getting back to bad things, when a person goes for a reading, and if a psychic sees something that is not bad, should they tell them?
Depends on how they do it, and it
Yeah.
depends on what it is. The deal I have with my guides is I will never see somebody's death, because we have more than one exit point. We have 4 or 5 possibilities. We could die of a high fever at 4, and a car accident at 18, and a mugging at 35, and falling out a window at 52, and prostate cancer at 90. As we come up to these places, our soul looks and says, have we done everything we need to do? If the answer is yes, you go. And if it isn't, you keep hanging on until that last point when you leave.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you, because I even tell some of my clients, like one of my clients came to me. Now, mind you, she's 89 years old now. The
Mhm.
psychic told her she would die when she's 87. Now, when we did our session, which was quite a few years ago, I said to her, I want you to delete that thought from your mind, because no one knows when your soul is ready to say goodbye.
Oh, please. I had the same experience. 11 years old on the Ventnor, New Jersey boardwalk. And a gypsy told me I was going to die when I was 89. And I always remembered that, but I have flipped it to say, at age 89, I will review my contract to see if I still want to stay. Which I know higher self and I will have this discussion.
Yeah, I know. And so, yeah, that's what bothers me with some people, the psychics, that they do that. Now, let me ask you a question. How does somebody know that the person they're going to is actually a good psychic?
Well, there are 7 keys that I talk to explain people, this is how you work it. And the word is psychic, and each one of those letters stands for something. The first P is for professionalism. What is a professional psychic? It's someone who respects general social conventions. They don't meet you at the door in a bikini or a bathroom. They respect you, and they respect other intuitives in their field. And whatever you would expect from a lawyer, expect it from your psychic. Your business is kept confidential. Appointments are kept. You know how much this is going to cost ahead of time. Your information is not gossiped about. S stands for sharing references. Always get references on your chosen psychic. A lot of us have the testimonials on our websites. If we see you at a psychic fair, we'll have books with comments that have been written. Don't be afraid to ask a professional intuitive for some people that you can directly talk to. We all have 2 or 3 people that say, yeah, give them my phone number, I'll tell them about you. It's easy. Y is you are in charge of your life. The psychic should never tell you that you're cursed, that you have bad luck, and that somebody like the psychic has to get you out of all these problems. Not true. Remember that even the best of us are only 85% accurate. The only one 100% accurate is God, and he's not doing private readings this week. So when you get the information, and you should always get a recording of it from us, you look and say, well, this looks like it was correct. This is way off. Not sure about this one. I'll shelve it for a couple of months and see what happens. Because sometimes we will see things you don't expect. One of my favorite stories about that, again in Canada, I read for a woman, And I saw a couple of challenges that I told her about. She gets up, she says, "You suck," and she walks away. Well, okay, fine. Who's the next person in my chair? The next time I come up to Canada with that woman, she says, "Last time I said you sucked." I said, "Yes, I remember. Because you told me that I was probably going to take an aborter and then I'd want to sell my house. And I thought that was all bull. But my daughter got pregnant and moved home. And now I'm going to sell my house to raise my grandson. And I still don't like you, but I want to know what else you see." Don't shoot the messenger. Okay.
Yeah.
C is for charges. We deserve to get paid if we're reasonably accurate, professional, compassionate, kind. You should not have to pay for a reading that's really, really off. What's a reading like that? If you're my age, 67, and you're postmenopausal and childless, if the psychic says to you, of your 4 children, it's your youngest who's going to take care of you in your old age, they're not connecting. And you have a right to say, "I'm sorry, Madam Hoo-ha, you're not connecting. I'd like my money back, please." You cannot say, "Well, I never heard of the past life you just gave me, and I don't know that spirit guide." You're just going to have to trust us on that one. Okay. H is for here I can fix anything for a price. Those are things like, no, we cannot raise, lift a curse, get a job for you that you don't deserve, make your neighbor move away, make somebody leave their boyfriend, girlfriend, and come over to you. No. And no, we're not going to give you the lottery numbers. As far as that goes, I say me first. And if your psychic is not at least driving a Lexus, how do you know they know?
Yeah, exactly. That's
I
funny.
is for inappropriate actions.
Mm.
They shouldn't tell you that you're cursed. You do not show them your bank account or give them your jewelry to bless, etc., etc. You ignore them if they say, "Well, I knew you in a past life, so now you owe me this money, blah, blah, blah." If they say, "Well, my belief system is right and you're damned unless you believe like that," no. And if you're just coming off a bad relationship and the psychic makes moves on you, all I can tell you is this: you wouldn't sleep with your shrink, and you wouldn't sleep with your priest, and you wouldn't sleep with your doctor. Why would you sleep with your psychic? You fall in love with us, great. Get married, have lots of indigo children, but find somebody else to read for you, because we can't be accurate if our ego's in the way. And the last C is for connections. If we've had a good connection with you, please tell other people about us. If the connection wasn't good, give us some constructive criticism. We're always willing to learn. And in a nutshell, those are your 7 keys for making sure you find a good reader.
No one has ever explained that like that. Thank you so much.
Words are my drug of choice, Barbara. I mean, for me, writing and explaining and talking is everything. So no problem.
And everything you said resonates 500% with me. And it's the truth. It really it is the truth. So let me ask you, when someone goes to a psychic, should they ask questions, or does the psychic just talk to them?
It depends on the psychic. My dear friend, the late great Allie Cheslett, who lived up here in Albany, New York, and we called her Chatty Cathy of the Dead. You sit down with her, it's like pushing a button and Allie would just take off. But you never knew what you were going to get, whether it's your dead people or whatever. I prefer working more deep dish because I have very detailed readings. For instance, when you sit down with me, I'm going to say to you, what's the most important thing you want to walk out of here knowing? Because if we have even an hour's reading, I may not cover everything. And if I go with your life encyclopedia from A to R and you wanted what was at T, you're going to go, she didn't tell me anything. If you go blank on me, I go Brooklyn on you and go, darling, what's biting your butt? Because everybody knows what that is. So let's say you said, I want to know about romance. First thing I'm going to ask, got somebody or want somebody? Because those are 2 different spreads. If you have someone, we do a spread for that person and you, plus we look at the karma underneath. If it's where the hell is he or she or they, then I actually use 2 decks. One of them I have from John Gray, the guy who wrote Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus. We pull your karma, what you need to look for, what they need to have. And then I do a month by month for 3 years to see where people are coming in. So if you just say, well, I want to know about romance, but I'm not telling you anything, I can give you some vague information, but I can't give you anything that's useful. See that difference?
Oh, yeah. And probably people don't see that, or they don't understand that.
No, they don't. But it's one of the ways, I will never recommend a psychic I haven't had a reading with myself, simply because I want to send my clients to those I trust. And there was a woman, she's dead 10 years now. She was from Detroit. She was on the circuit with me. And I said, everyone says she's so good. I want a reading with her. Put my hands on hers. And the first thing she comes out with is, you're so lonely. There are no men in your life, blah, blah, blah. I'm wearing my wedding ring. I'm happily married. So this is someone that obviously is saying from her ego, not truth. On the other hand, there have been people that have told me stuff that did not seem like it was really going to happen at the time. And then 5 months later, there it is.
There it is.
So
Yeah.
those are people I would recommend. And it's also, if you will, bedside manner. Are they kind? Are they funny? Are they straight arrow? Are they glurpy purple with angels? What's glurpy purple with angels? Well, as you can tell, I'm a New Yorker. We're just like in your face.
I know.
Glurpy purple with angels. And out in California, you probably see a lot of this. Hi, my name is Little Dancing Raccoon. And here's my spirit guide, Arctic Bear. I'm sorry, that I'd get up and that's not me. Some people need that syrupy sweetness. Not me. Mine is, here are your opportunities and how to grab them. Here's the tough stuff and how to get through it or around it. Here's your toolbox, go rock and roll. So realize also, we're going to all have different bedside manners, if you will.
Oh, yeah.
Some people who really need the gentle stuff, they don't like me. And some people who just want it right in the face, I'm their favorite person. So that's one of the things that you need to check on.
Yeah.
Right? Someone may have a great reputation, but if you don't feel comfortable sitting with them and just lowering your shields and being there, they're not your psychic, no matter how good they are.
Now, do you feel like someone can go to a psychic and actually the psychic not be able to read them?
Oh yeah, it happens to me. But will the psychic admit it? That's the key. When I put out cards and they make no sense, and I've been, I'm a certified tarot master. I've been reading for 50 years. Or you ask me for a past life and I see your Akashic record book and it's just flipping and flipping and I see nothing but blank pages. Or you ask me to speak to your dead Aunt Mabel and there's no answer to the phone. I will tell you, I am so sorry, but I am not connecting with you. I'm apparently not your reader. And I'll give them their money back. And I'll tell them, you might want this person, this person, this person. But I'm also allowed to refuse to read you. Example, woman sat down with me and said, I want to know where my husband is sleeping with his mistress. I said, I'm sorry, I don't do remote spying. Oh, well, how many people has he slept with? I'm sorry, Mrs. Cooperson, I don't do remote spying. Jeez, all right. Well, listen, is he sick? Is he going to die soon so I can get his money? And I turned to my front person. I said, Laura, I'm not able to connect with Mrs. Cooperson. Please give her her money back. But I did not suggest to her where else she could go.
Where else she could
That's
go.
just a client who doesn't respect other people's boundaries. And why would I want to send that to a psychic I liked?
But there are psychics out there that it would they would definitely take advantage of that.
Yeah, there are. There are. It's why
a
lot of us have such a bad rep. A lot of us people are scared of us. A lot of people don't take us seriously. People will stand in front of me at my booth at a psychic fair and say, okay, tell me something you couldn't know about me. And if you're right, I'll have a reading with you. And I look at them and I smile and I say, I'm sorry, I don't roll over and fetch either. And I turn my back and they do not get a reading.
No.
There was another person, I was eating lunch. I give myself a 15-minute break every 2 hours. And he leans over to the table and he pushes my food and he says, you don't need to eat right now. My wife needs a reading. Well, guaranteed my front person blocked him. They were never allowed at my booth. We are not a burger, a latte, or a car wash. We are real people with our own needs, and we need to take care of ourselves. If we do, I'll give you the best reading of your life. But if you don't respect me, you do not come in my booth.
Good for you. Good for you. Not many people are that way.
Well,
they'll just do it for the money. But yeah, it is creating boundaries and taking care of ourselves.
And I didn't have that in the beginning. But I've read long enough, full time, that I know even if 1 month isn't good, the next month will be all right. Any independent business is a roller coaster. But I don't worry anymore about, am I supposed to do this? Am I good enough? Which is when people clutch for the money. I know who I am. And frankly, the more we know who we are and we are relaxed and confident, it's like moths to a flame. Would you rather come to somebody who was obviously desperate for money, or someone who was just relaxed and say, you're more than welcome into the booth?
Exactly. And I look at things like that too. Yeah, there are some weeks that are great. There are some weeks that are not great. But I trust that whoever will come in the right timing, and it'll be fine.
Yes.
It is fine. Now, let me ask you something. Yeah, what is it? I guess my question, because it's come up to me many a times from my clients, the difference between someone who's a medium and someone who channels. Is that the same?
No, it's all mediums are psychic.
Okay.
But not all psychics are mediums. Another way to look at it, all pediatricians are doctors, but not all doctors are pediatricians.
Right.
When you see it like that, then you understand it. Mediums specifically talk to dead people. Channels can bring down spirit guides, angels, ETs. For instance, Jane Roberts channeled Seth. Esther Hicks channels Abraham. Pat Rodegast channeled Emmanuel. But John Holland, John Edward, James Van Praagh, Lisa Williams, they are mediums. They bring in dead Aunt Mabel.
Oh, that's the difference. I did not know the difference. And I've been doing energy healing my whole life. I thought it's basically the same, but I guess it's not. So if someone wants to know about like someone that's passed on, they would look for a medium.
That is correct. And we all work differently. Like I said, there was my buddy Allie, press a button, boom, she's out. But with me, I work a little differently. I ask for their dog tags. For instance, my dad, Jerome Richard Dorkin, who died in 2001 at the age of 80. Notice that there is no information there, but it helps connect me into the energy. And what my guides do is it's almost like they play charades. I'll put my hands out for the energy. This means they smoked. This means there was an accident. Hand over the mouth may mean they were intubated or having trouble breathing when they passed. See, these are not, it's a rose, she loves you. And as soon as you and I have gotten, yes, there is enough solid, detailed information that I know this is my Uncle Dan. I open the door and they can talk to you directly. No, it doesn't sound like them, but I will tell you exactly what they say without translation. For instance, there was a woman from York, Pennsylvania, but she had married a Texan. And she wanted to speak to him, and I feel my head caught to one side and my arms go out wide, and I hear, "Hey, baby." That's how we walked into the house every night after work. See, that's not "It's a Rose, He Loves You." It is something that I could not have known.
Yes.
So she understood that was her guy. That was Reggie. That was her guy.
That's when they know that you're authentic, when you say something, because anyone could say, oh yeah, well, he did love you or this or that. But when you tap into something personal, that's a whole different ballgame for them.
Yes.
So
and
now,
sometimes, I'll come out with a phrase and they'll go, oh my God.
Now, do you sometimes see that the person, the dead person?
I see them here. I do not see them like Casper the Friendly Ghost. No, I don't.
Okay. All right. So I know before you mentioned angels and spirit guides. What is it?
That's like a Venn. Do you remember Venn diagrams in math? You had the two circles, and then there was that part. Well, the Venn diagram for spirit guides and angels is a donut. The center of the donut, they're angels. We all have at least one there with us from birth to death. They have our names in the back of their tunics, like camp tags, because we can't make it out of here without angelic help. We just can't.
Yeah.
Spirit guides are the donut. Spirit guides grow and change as we do. They can be people you've loved before. They can be people you've loved in other lives. They can be ETs. They can be animal guides. They can be avatars. They can be energetic signatures. But spirit guides grow and change as we do. Just as you don't have the same teacher from kindergarten to PhD, you don't have the same guide that you had at 12 when you're 86 necessarily.
And like angels, when you say angels, like you're talking about, like, say, Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael.
That's
so
right.
The angelic realm.
That's right. The experience I have with mine, in 2002, I was driving upstate New York. It was winter. I overcorrected my car. I took down a tree, a telephone pole, flipped the car. There were electrical wires all over it, and I wasn't wearing a seatbelt. At no time did I think I was going to die.
Oh.
I felt like it was an e-ticket at Disney. And when I got out, I had some bruises here. Blood pressure was 120/80. That was an angel driving that car and protecting me from death. Because when I went to see my car at the place that had towed it, I really got shook, because all the front, passenger side, and back were crushed, not the driver's side.
Wow.
I knew I was supposed to be here working at that point. That was God saying, you're drafted.
It's amazing when things like that happen. That happened to me back east when I lived in Brooklyn. I don't know what I was thinking, but I went through a stop sign, and here comes a car this way and a car this way. And I look and I see their face, and I see myself, oh no, right? I mean, that's all that went through my mind, that I'm going to be hit this way and hit this way. I swear to you, what happens is all of a sudden the car is on the other side of the street. And how did the car get on the other side of the street? The people actually came out of their cars, and they said they don't understand how my car, that nothing happened, and that the car was on the other side of the street. And I had said at that moment in my heart, like an angel just picked up my car and put it on the other side of the street, which is something crazy to say. But these two people were amazed that nothing happened, and that how did the car get there? It just was what it was. It was a miracle. I was not supposed to have that accident that day. And then I said to myself, okay, you need never ever to go through a stop sign again, because you need to really concentrate. So there was the lesson there. You know, I was spared, but there's always a lesson. There's always something to learn, from situations, I feel.
That's correct. That's correct.
So it's amazing. So have you seen angels? Do they actually show themselves to you?
I have. They don't look like Hallmark card angels. The one experience I had seeing an angel was simply this brilliant light. And I'm not going to talk about the circumstances because it was very private, but it was very obvious that I had the upstairs connection. And that is when I especially knew that I had to do my work part-time. Remember, I said in the early 90s, all of a sudden I could do hands-on healing and talk to dead people. And that is when an angelic presence came in and basically said, we got you, honey. You're not alone.
It's a beautiful gift when that happens.
Stunning. But I'll tell you, it is humbling. It's one of the other things that, if you can, with a psychic, find it. When we know we are here in service, it's not, I often say, there are psychics who think their aura don't stink. But with me, the gifts that I was given have to be used in service, in compassion, in love, and in healing. Now, with that said, people will say, well, if you got this from God, you shouldn't be charging. That's selfish. It's a God's gift. And I said, in the old days, there were lots of people who did this for free. You had a Celtic healer who would heal you for free, but it's because you voluntarily brought him a chicken or a cloak or some wood. You're not
Something.
doing that here. And in order for me to do this full time, I have to charge, because that's how we feed ourselves and pay for what we need. That is simply how the world works now.
Yeah, and it's funny because many years ago, I had volunteered on 9/11 for the home port,
Yeah.
and of course we didn't charge because that was all volunteer.
Yeah.
But people would tell me, they'd say, well, if you're doing energy work and it's from God's work, why are you charging me? Well, because this is what I do. This is my purpose and passion, and I'm very grateful for it. But I need to feed my family too.
I explained to people, let's take a look at the 4-day show I used to do in Kitchener, Ontario. Okay. For one thing, the booth fee for the 4 days was almost $1,000 right there. I was on the road for 5 nights, which meant 5 nights at a hotel. Gas, tolls, feeding myself, paying the person who was my front person, and being away from my husband for 5 days. I'm not going to do all that for free. I can't.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, people have to understand that we do this because this is what we're called to do. We have that sacred contract, I feel, with God and the angelic realm that, this is our calling. But we have to get paid for it.
And, people will try to, you'll know the Yiddish expression, handle you, get the deal. The ones that are usually said is, well, you're not doing anything right now. Why don't you read me for half price? Or can my friend and I come in for a reading, but we only pay for one? Or how about you do a reading for free and I'll tell everybody how good you are? Or I really want a reading, but I can't afford it, and they stare at you. Or, as I said, you really aren't very spiritual. You're not doing it for free. And I turn that around and I say, let's look at it with a lot of normal professions. You go to your hairdresser and say, you're not doing anything right now. Why don't you cut my hair for half price? You say to the plumber, why don't you install my dishwasher and fix my shower, but I only pay you for one call? You say to the cleaning lady, clean my house a couple times for free, and if you're good, I'll tell everyone you're good. You go to the dress shop. I really want that dress for my party, and you stare at them hoping they're going to give it to you. Or you say to your doctor, what do you mean that you won't take care of me for free? You just want me to get sick and die. You're not very compassionate. And everybody says, I would never do that. I say, it's the same for us.
Exactly. It's the same thing for us.
Mm-hmm.
Same exact thing.
Yes.
And like we don't charge for the reading or for the healing. We charge for our time. This is our time.
Our energy, the years of knowledge, the certifications we have. I kid and I tell rookie readers, it's always good to get paper trained. What's paper trained? Get your certifications, whether it's certified professional tarot reader, Reiki 3, mastery, whatever, because when you can wave a piece of paper under somebody's nose, they really believe you. It's just the way of the world.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny because I've been a healer my whole life. My grandma was my healer. And when we moved here, in order for me to work anywhere, I had to have certifications. Now, mind you, I started getting certifications back east, but all they wanted to see was that piece of paper. And I said to myself, wow, someone could be a really good healer, but not have that, certification. But it does help. Believe me, you have to have it.
Yes.
And it's good knowledge. I mean, you get to know some other people, how they do their things.
Exactly.
So, let me ask you a far-fetched question here. Because I know you hear all this, dial a psychic and all this crazy. Can a psychic do a reading over the phone without that person being in front of them?
Look, I do all my readings over the phone or over Zoom or Skype.
Oh, okay.
And if people say, can that really work? I'd say, if I could only read you when you're sitting in front of me, how do you know I'm not reading your body language? Oh, yeah. And to be honest, I work on one of the lines. It's Best Psychics Directory. It's the Cadillac line. It's the ones where you have to be good. You're tested before you go. And why do I do that? Because I'm fast. maybe all you need with me is 4 minutes to answer one question, and it's a lot cheaper to do that than hire me for a half an hour on my own website. I'm one of those weird people that I try to get people to spend less money, not more.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel the same way. So, it's not in my heart. I will never take advantage because I wouldn't like it done to myself.
Yeah, I agree. And once you take advantage of people, Spirit's going to squint at you and say, did you forget the bargain? Did you forget you're supposed to do this in compassion and service, not to buy yourself an extra pair of shoes because you like the bling? And, you look at Spirit and you go, oops. So.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Won't do that again.
We don't get away with nothing when we're.
No, we don't, do we?
Mm-mm.
It's like, it's crazy. But again, this is our passion. We have this sacred contract, and as challenging as, sometimes our, profession is, to make the money all the time. We have to put that aside.
Yes, we do. We do.
Have to put it aside. So, all right. So you do readings over Zoom, over phone, and how should a person come with questions? I think I may have asked you this before.
It depends on how we're working. There are lots of things that I do. I have readings that can go from the 5-minute, quick one question to a full hour for a general reading, and that's all your practical stuff. I have consultations, create your sentence of passion, brainstorm your business. And then there's the soul plane reading, which is kind of the jewel in the crown. That is the work that I did with Robert Schwartz in his books on pre-birth planning. And that's when you have a life challenge, poverty, illness, death of a loved one, parenting handicapped children, whatever it is, that you keep stumbling up against and you can't figure out, why am I dealing with this? Then, based on the work I did with Robert, I will sit down. You have homework that you send me, and then I'll get some clarification questions to understand the whole situation. Then I will sit down at 6:30 in the morning at my desk, and I spend most of the day in deep trance meditation, bringing down past lives in detail, looking at your numerology, talking with your own soul, your higher self. What is this about? And then I spend an hour with you on the phone. So that's 12 to 14 hours of my work. That's my most expensive reading, but it's still cheaper than it should be, because I only charge about 20% an hour of what I would charge if it was just a general reading, because I want to make sure this is available for people who need it. It's not just for 1%ers.
Do people come back to you and then tell you, wow, you told me this like a year ago and now it's happened?
Go look on my website. The testimonials are all there. Yes, often.
So let's get back to your book a little bit. So you've written this incredible book that I've looked over, all about how to find a psychic. What made you write that book?
Because there aren't any out there like that.
There
really
aren't.
And the old saying, all boats rise when one boat rises. If I can show people how to choose wisely, how to find the psychic that will do the best work for them, tell them the difference between what we do and how we do it, show them questions they shouldn't ask, and when they should just get up and leave because the psychic is not legit, that's going to save so many people. There's the old saying, 1 oh crap beats 10 attaboys. Remember that? So you can have great experiences with psychics and nobody really talks about them. But if one person feels scammed, it is all over social media.
Yes.
So, I used to worry because I've got 1 or 2 people over the years who really thought I was horrible. And they would write these horrible screeds on my review page on Google. And a friend of mine said, no, that's good. I said, why? She said, if every single review of you was perfect, they wouldn't believe it. So now you've got 119 reviews on Google, 2 of them are bad. Yeah. Then it automatically shows that the person who wrote the nasty one, the problem is them, not me. So
Yeah. Or, not everybody likes everybody. I mean,
Exactly.
I've sent one or two people to somebody else because it just wasn't that fit. You could just feel it.
And they wanted me to tell them certain things, and they were not there. I'm
Mhm.
sorry. I know that you are in love with Roger, but Roger is happily married with 2 kids, a dog, and a minivan. He's not going to leave his wife for you. And because I told them the truth, I'm a terrible reader.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's the
Live
thing.
and be well, honey.
They don't want to hear the truth.
No, they don't.
So your book is your book basically just for like the average person, or
It is.
should other
No.
psychics?
Well, actually, other psychics have read it and laughed
Oh,
because I said, oh my God, I wish I had this book when I was just starting out. Because there are some times when people should not have readings. And I give a couple of examples in the book, and it is story time, my darlings, and I'm going to read you what we go through that it just drives us crazy. Please, please, please do not do this to us. Okay? Does Bruce think about me? No. Has he ever thought about me? Not the way you want. If I do such and such, will he think about me? No. Is he going to call soon? He isn't. Well, if he's not going to call soon, he's going to call later. And notice that this person is beating on the psychic and turning the question 2 degrees every way possible, hoping that eventually the psychic will say, yes, yes, he loves you and he wants 7 babies with you, but he just doesn't know it yet. Oh, good. I thought so. No, we're not going that way, guys.
it's hysterical. It's the truth, though.
But it happens. Oh my God, it happens.
It does happen. I get that also. Well, why is this? Why is that? Please just stop. You want to just scream at them sometimes.
You really do. You really do. And then the other thing is always about career. Okay. My supervisor at work is mean to me. Is she going to get any nicer? No. Is her supervisor going to make her stop harassing me? No. She going to fire me? No. But if she doesn't like people, she fires them. Are you sure she won't fire me? It doesn't appear so in anything I am seeing. I have a meeting with her tomorrow. Is she going to fire me then, or should I quit first? Are you not listening? Hello, Dawn breaks over Marblehead here.
Not listening. It's hysterical. It's funny, though.
You pat them on the head, but you make sure you do not read them again because they are not ready to listen.
No, that's it. They're not listening.
Mm-hmm.
They're not listening to the truth. They want to hear something that is fabricated rather than you telling them this is what's going to be.
Yeah.
Not what it's not. They want to hear what they want to hear. That's what the thing is.
And then there's the other side. When someone sits at me and goes, I know I'm not supposed to tell psychics anything. Do it. And they're sitting there with this, stone face and this body posture of all their shields up. And I just look at them and say, I'm sorry. That's like trying to climb Everest in sneakers. There's no grip. You got to want to be there with me, guys. Right. Don't play test the psychic. Don't decide, well, I'm going to show everybody that you're a fake, which is different from skeptics. I never mind skeptics. I respect them. Most of the time, they leave shaking their heads because they cannot explain how the heck I knew what I told them.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So like I say, skeptics are fine. Coming in to say, let's screw with a psychic is not fine.
Right. Yeah. And even when, with energy healing, if they're not open and if they're so closed, it's really hard to clear or to help them in any way.
Yep. Yep. It's like a little kid who says, I hurt. And he's holding on to his knee that he scraped and he won't let go of the knee so you can put on the, bacitracin and bandage it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a wild world out there.
It really
That's all I could say. Do you have your book in front of you? Can you show us a copy of it?
Right here. It's what I was just reading from.
I know. Beautiful design.
Yeah.
The Psychic Willow Brick Road.
How to find the real wizards and avoid the flying monkeys.
The flying monkeys. That's hysterical.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I did make sure that the idea of the Wizard of Oz was in public domain. I couldn't use anything from the movie, but L. Frank Baum's book, yes. And if you think about it, The real wizards, those are the psychics who are good. The flying monkeys are the Madame Hoo-Has and the Swami Swalandas that are really only concerned with burnishing their reputations and taking your money.
Yes, exactly. So you are the real deal. That's all I could say. And I tell you, I love your book. Love that book. If anyone is looking or thinking about going to a psychic, should read that book first.
Yep, and it's paperback if you're in the United States, or it's on Kindle, and you can get it Kindle worldwide.
So one more time, the name of that book. I love the name of the
Psychic
book.
Yellow Brick Road: How to Find the Real Wizards and Avoid the Flying Monkeys.
But I love that title. I love that title. Your book is really phenomenal. I
Thank
have
you
to
so
say,
much.
I've read quite many books, but when I read yours, I said, now this is the truth.
Thank you.
It's the
Thank
truth. So it's like 50 stars for you, or 1,000 stars, or whatever.
Well, then I'll tell you, guys out there, if you buy the book, thank you. I love it. But please leave a review on Amazon. It's self-published. And until you get 50 reviews on a self-published book on Amazon, they stick you on the back shelf behind the pickles. Unless people
yes.
know to look for it, they won't see it. So yes, reviews are so important. Please, please,
Yes,
please.
they are. So where can everybody get a hold of you and have a reading?
Oh, they can't avoid me, Barbara. They really can't. I'm all over the internet. My website is corbiemitleid.com. You can find me on Facebook, Corbie Mitleid Psychic at Fire Through Spirit. You can find me Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, Medium, Patreon, YouTube. All of it is Corbie Mitleid.
Everywhere. And when this goes live on YouTube, Spotify, and everywhere else, we'll make sure that all of those links are on the bottom.
That would be terrific. Thank you. Thank you.
Wow. I tell you, reading your book and having you come on my show is truly an eye-opener.
Then I did my job. That's all I ever asked.
I know. It's like, I thank you so much. And I thank you for writing an amazing book. I mean, that is the first one out there that I've ever read that really speaks the truth about psychics and mediums and angels and spirit guides and everything else. One more time, where can everyone get a hold of you?
CorbieMitleid.com. It's a nice, juicy website with lots of information for you.
Yes, it is. I already checked it out, and there's a lot of information there. Corbie, I thank you so much for coming on today. And gee, a big thank you to my listeners. And I hope that you heard today what you needed to hear. And visit me at motivateyourlife.net. And please subscribe to this YouTube channel, the Spiritual Warrior Coach Podcast. We're on Apple, iHeart, Chrome, you name it, we are everywhere. And we are also international, which I'm very proud of. Thank you, God. So again, subscribe and give us a 5-star, because all of my guests are amazing people, just like Corbie. And for those of you may be interested in learning energy healing, check out my book on Amazon, Gentle Energy Touch, The Beginner's Guide to Hands-On Healing. So again, thank you, Corbie, for an incredible interview. And thank you to everybody, and have a beautiful week filled with love and with light. Love, Barbara.